There it is. Now I'm on the right screen. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to First Listen. My name is Jon Garcia, a.k.a. StayPuft, here with my buddy Hardcore Keem, as always. And today we are joined by Nato and Christian, drummers and guitar, respectively, from New Zealand, sludge stoner rock band Boss, who just released their debut album, They Seek My Head. Today, gentlemen, welcome to First Listen. How you doing today?
Great, man. Thanks so much for having us on.
Yeah,
this
is
absolutely
awesome. Thanks. Looking forward to having a chat through these songs.
Yeah, we're excited to have you guys on as well. Happy to just like tear into the riffs and just like settle into this album. Thanks for waking up early for us. I know that it's about 9:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning in New Zealand right now.
Crack of dawn. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's earlier than I usually wake up. That's for sure. Before we get things started off, because this may be the first time that a lot of people are listening to you guys or hearing you guys or just like coming across your name, I'm curious, like what's the story of Boss? Like how did you guys come about? How did you start playing and jamming into your journey to release your first album today?
I'll kick this one off, Nato. Greg Broadmoor and myself, we've been playing music together for a long time. And we'd started writing some music, which would end up becoming this band quite a long time ago, probably 10 years ago, just jamming, not with really any plans to even do a band with it. And we'd sort of develop these new guitars, these G-tuned guitars, which, you know, had a really unique sound. And we were just pretty excited what we could do with it. But yeah, hadn't really had firm plans to do a band with it until we met Nato, who's obviously a big fan of his band already, Peace Wars. I mean, I'm still wearing his shirts to this
representing.
And yeah, we started jamming, and it was quite an organic sort of growth. Nathan, what's your memories of how it first came about?
Oh, well, I just remember meeting you guys about 10 years ago, and we just started jamming, and then I moved away overseas for a couple of years, and then we came back and started jamming again, but there was never a vocalist. And then we met Emma Jane, EJ. It was maybe 3 years ago. And she started, and once she joined, the whole thing just kind of, it made more sense. It was like, okay, these are actually proper songs. She's a great vocalist. It all just kind of came together from there. It actually made us, you know, want to finish songs and start recording songs where it had just been a jam band.
Yeah, it's amazing. Once we found EJ, it was like, oh, this is something. It was instant. As soon as even in those first practices, we were all kind of just filling each other out. It was like, this is really something. It doesn't sound like anything I've heard before, and instantly it just took it up a whole nother level having her on board.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, hearing everything. I mean, the first song I heard from y'all was Punished, you know, the first single that you released for this album. And I can't imagine hearing anybody else behind those riffs and everything like that, even like not knowing anything about what you guys have done before or like how you sounded back, you know, years ago. Hearing EJ sing over the riffs, I feel like it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? It just like goes together.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, without further ado, let's get into it. We'll chat along the way, as we always do. Keem, you know we're good for a good conversation over music. It's like, hey, listen to this music, but also listen to us talk over it as well.
Right.
Multitasking. First thing in the morning.
Exactly. All right, and everybody out in the chat, I see you, Triceracopdactyls lurk. Thanks for coming over here. Any questions you guys have for Nato or Christian, go ahead and fire them away. But let's do this. I've got my finger over the playlist right now, and we're just gonna play this and let it go, everybody. This is They Seek My Head, brand new album from Boss, came out today, and we're gonna be listening to it in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, and everybody let me know how the levels are and everything on that. You should hear us, and you should hear the music as well.
Is it rude to talk over it? Should we start blabbering already?
Yeah, you should. It's your music, guys. You tell me.
I lost my link, so I'm just trying to restart the bloody
Oh no.
the playback, but I'll catch up. You go, Christian.
Yeah. Well, this one, I was talking about how we created these guitars, which ended up, you know, forming the band around them. And this riff that's playing right now, that pounding on that low open G, that's just the purest, simplest thing we can possibly do with those instruments. It's just hit the lowest note, floor to the floor, pound along. This is what the things sound like. And we'd never imagined a really soaring sort of vocal like what EJ does. It kind of assumed it was going to be some sort of aggressive mechanical vocal. But yeah, like we said earlier, as soon as we put EJ on it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is something else. This is something that we hadn't thought of.
Yeah, you guys will see this face a little bit a lot with the guitar tones you guys have.
It's filthy, isn't it? Like, I just love how it's so thick, but it's also this brightness to it, which, you know, it's crazy these such low-tuned guitars have such clarity.
A big part of that has got to go to the our engineer and producer. What was he a producer? I don't even know what that word means. But James Goldsmith, who recorded this for us, he managed to get all that thickness, all that fatness, but still retain the clarity somehow. He's a magician. We owe him a lot of the credit for this album.
You guys said that this is an open G, so you guys tune down to G?
Yep, G standard. So yeah, nearly a whole octave down. And I didn't know too much about the difference in scale lengths when we first started doing this, and I use Ibanez Iceman, which is a Gibson scale length, which is actually a bit shorter than the Fender one, so it's really asking a lot of those guitars. I did end up getting a baritone, which handles that tuning much better, but there's something about those smaller guitars, and they're just a bit lighter and easier to throw around. And they handle the intonation pretty well, I think.
Yeah, you want to make your instruments work for you, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Greg actually ended up getting a guitar built for this band. It's this beautiful angular thing that he designed himself. It's quite cool. At some point I'd like to do the same thing.
Shout out to Juno Fears in the chat, by the way. Nice to see you, buddy. Hanging out over here. We're listening to End Boss right now. And I think kind of what you're saying, Christian, EJ's voice, how like low everything is versus like where her natural cadence is, I really do think that kind of complements each other.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it was just completely fortuitous. There was no smart planning or anything there. We'd actually seen EJ play in a completely different context. Years before, my punk rock band did a punk rock festival in a town called Napier, which is way north of Wellington. And she played in a couple bands there, and we were all just kind of amazed at her. She was playing bass in one band, did a solo guitar and vocal set, and we didn't really talk to her much, but we had remembered her. She'd made a real impression, and it wasn't until years later she moved to Wellington, and a connection, Nathan's got us in touch with her, and we jumped at the chance to get her on board.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was actually introduced by a mutual friend to the bass player of my other band, who was doing a solo kind of noisy synthesizer thing, and they thought that she would be a good singer for him, but he's so kind of he's not the most productive kind of onto it, what's it called, assertive person. So as soon as I heard that he'd been introduced to this great singer, I was like, dude, I need a singer more than you need a singer. Please give her my number. You're not going to do anything. I will probably end up making a band with her before you do. It all worked out.
Amazing. You should do rock, paper, scissors for it or something.
Yeah.
They wrestled, oiled up and wrestled. It was like, hell of a sight. Should have been their first music video, actually.
That would have
Next album cycle.
Yeah, that would have gone viral, definitely. Watching me do some jelly wrestling with our other bass player.
The submission. Oh man, can't forget that. Which part of the song are you guys up to now?
We just started Punished. We're about 30 seconds in.
Okay, I'll catch up.
I love how simple this song is. This is how I like to play music. It's just solid and kind of slamming. And it's good for me because I'm not a technical drummer.
Yeah.
So when I get to play something like this, you just get to lay into it.
Yeah, but like part of what I love about this too is because you don't need to be technical to do that, right? You just need to drive the song. And like with the way that the guitars are and everything around, it really serves what's going on. Where you can just kind of let back and let everything else go because like the star right now obviously is EJ's vocals. And I love like the production on this album is really fun too because like the echo effects and the delays that are on her voice over this song, really cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Nato is actually a fantastic drummer. He's pretty self-deprecating, but he's got a swing like unlike anyone else I've ever played with. One of the reviews that came out yesterday, he kind of sent us laughingly that it was a comparison to Bonham in there. But I was like, that's not really a joke. He's not doing all the fills and solos that Bonham does, but that swing, that laid-back swing, that behind the beat feel.
Yeah.
I haven't played with a drummer like him before, and he always gets an amazing sound, just like Bonham does. You can hear the player through the instrument, and whatever kit we're playing with at practices or shows, it always sounds like Nathan. It's such a real mark of a real musician is that they can make an instrument sound like themselves.
Yeah, I love that line. You can hear the player through the instrument, and that groove is not something that you can. I feel like obviously there's a lot of things that drummers can learn, but that groove, that inherent groove inside of you that gets everybody like going like that. I feel like that is really hard to teach. You just kind of go with it,
Yeah, I was in the room when Nathan was laying down some of the drums for this, and you couldn't help but nod along. I was thinking, well, let's just leave the guitars off of this shit.
Yeah, recording the drums for this was quite a crazy process because we record the drums in 2 days. On day one, we just recorded all the kick drum, the snare, and the toms. And then on day two, I went and overdubbed all the cymbals.
Interesting. Wow.
It was a nightmare, and it was a stupid idea. and we'll never do it again. Okay. But it was worth the experiment.
That was gonna be my question. So I was like, I obviously know instruments, guitars, bass, vocalists will overdub everything. I've never heard of a drummer trying to do that, and it sounded like no. You go back to the normal way of doing it next time.
Yeah, no, it definitely works. They did that for I think a couple of Tom Petty albums. They recorded the drums separately. Songs for the Deaf, Queens of the Stone Age. That was all done separately. That was the inspiration, really. I think, do you know a band called Whores?
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the guys from that band about how their amazing drums sound, and they did a similar thing where they record all the drums normally, so cymbals and drum kit, but then just overdubbed the toms, so the toms sounded really, really huge on top. That's probably a smarter, easier way to do things.
Yeah, get the impact over there.
Yeah. We also just recorded in our jam room, the drums at least, and there was a gym, what do you call it, a
CrossFit gym.
CrossFit gym next door, so in between our takes we just hear people groaning and smashing massive weights on the ground.
Yeah, and pounding dubstep music coming through the walls. I think some of it actually leaked through into the recordings.
Amazing.
That's funny. Copyright protection.
I was surprised that we got away with that as well as we did.
Yeah.
This song has got a real feel-good chorus.
Harmonies. I like the harmonies.
That was Christian's idea. He just we recorded all the tracks and then Christian started messing around at home. He just goes, what do you guys reckon of this? And just added on every song just these beautiful Beautiful harmonies.
Yeah, fortunately we ended up mixing them pretty far back. But it's something I had been wanting to try for a long time. I'm such a fan of harmonized backing vocals. I'm a terrible singer, but I really wanted to give it a try, and being able to record it at home, I could just do take after take until I could finally get it. And but yeah, I was still pretty nervous sending them through to the guys. I fully expected to just get laughed out of the band, but
I think it added that 5% magic, and that's what you're looking for with everything you do. It's just adding that extra thing on top.
Yeah, if it wasn't such a nice bunch of folks in the band, I probably wouldn't have even tried sending them through.
Hey, you surround yourself with the people that'll help you, right? Like that's the old adage, and it's working.
It's going okay so far. Yeah.
Also, shout out to Valected. Appreciate you. Subscribes for 2 months. Appreciate you for resubscribing over here, my friends. We are listening. We're on track number 3 of N Boss's new album, They Seek My Head. This song is called Becomes the Goal.
So this song, this part we're hearing at the moment, this whole outro section, we tried something a bit new for us, which was a modulation where we moved the whole riff up a full tone, like 2 steps. It's kind of it's an old soul music trick, but Metallica used to do it as well.
Yeah.
We'll take the riff and then just move it up. They'd often just move up a single tone. But we've been playing the song for quite a while without the modulation at the end, and then just before we went to record it, we decided, let's try this thing, let's record it like that. And and then we had to tell EJ, all those amazing vocals you've been singing right at your limit, you got to take them up a couple extra notes now, and so we dropped it right in.
Turn it up 1 louder.
Yeah.
You had a chat with, did an interview with EJ the other day, Christian. Did you guys talk about the themes of the songs at all?
Yeah. It was actually really revealing for me, just sitting with EJ and hearing her talk about the meanings behind them. It's a lot of pretty dark stuff. Like, it's interesting. We know EJ fairly well. She's such a lovely person, but all these, I guess she gets all her darkness out in the lyrics. When we got her lyrics in written form to put on the record sleeve, it was real revelation, Nathan? Her writing is amazing.
Oh yeah, it is. Like, I love reading her lyrics, especially because in a jam room you can't really hear what's being said, you just hear the sounds.
Right.
But then when I finally read the lyrics the first time, I was like, holy shit. But
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to find this email that she sent. She's like, I promise guys, I'm fine. And I was like, yeah. But, it's great having a vocalist that's not afraid to just sing what's on their mind, get stuff off their chest.
I remember a bit of the stuff she was talking about. The first song, Heart of the Sickle, was mainly about what we're doing to the planet at the moment and ecological concerns. She also talks about, there's some sort of personal stuff in there, but she also talks about the distribution of wealth on the planet, and how damaging that imbalance is. She gets into some pretty deep stuff.
I am excited. I haven't. I've given this a couple of cursory listens just to prepare. I haven't been able to dive into the lyrics yet, but I feel like you can feel that emotion seep through, even if you're not paying attention specifically to the lyrics. Like in this song, we're listening to Covet right now, and just kind of the way that she drawls and kind of falls away with the vocal lines and everything like that. And you mentioned it, Nato, just that what do you call it? Genuine. The word is, I was going to say authenticity. That's the word that I'm looking for. I was like genuinity, but that's not a word.
You just invented a word.
Yeah, honesty. That's, you can't fake that. And I think that being able to do that and get it out through the music rather than like other ways in your life, I think is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned the drawl, and when we were practicing for that first year or two, we had a hard time actually hearing DJ. And then, you know, as we got a bit more confident as a band and we'd bring her up, but it wasn't until we started recording demos and stuff we could truly hear her voice. And I think most great vocalists have quite unique ways of enunciating words and bring out things when they're singing which may not be in their normal speaking voice. And that was really eye-opening hearing EJ. She would have these unique ways of phrasing words and accenting them. Did you notice the same thing, Nathan? She was like, we hadn't been able to hear it so clearly before, and it's like, wow, she becomes another person.
Yeah, every line is just delivered in a really unique way. Like, it's obviously, you know, feeling what she's singing. Are we on Nail and Tooth now?
We are getting very close, my friend. We are we are now on Nail and Tooth. It just
I'm right in time with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm back in sick now.
Isabella's on YouTube says, congratulations on joining this new band. So way to go, man.
You look like you're enjoying it. You look like you're enjoying it, Keem. I like seeing you rock out there and you sing.
I like that one. Love it. I like that one. I like the ending. I like the ending, how it just slowed down. It was really impactful. I like that. I like the ending to that.
Thanks, sir. This song was a relatively early one. Riff we've been playing with for a while. It was that main riff, the verse riff. I was playing along with Mastodon, and I started playing one of their riffs, and then I started kind of just playing it backwards, just totally flipped the riff around, and that's what ended up becoming the main riff in this song.
We called it Mastodons for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Yeah, so don't call it Mastodon.
Mastodon came out once too.
Amazing. You get the mammoth and the eggplant emoji, Mastodon. This is one of my favorites on the record, I think, just because that two-step right there that you get into with the tambourine in.
Yeah, that's Christian.
You can hear that.
Yeah.
I fucking love the tambourine on the backbeat stuff, man. I'll put it in all of them if these guys would pick me up. Yeah, Nato has to work hard on this one, man.
I've got one. My right thigh is like twice the size of my left thigh. that muscle's just swollen with blood after the song.
Walking in a circle for half a day.
Yeah.
What's that? We got a friend of Greg's, and to do that string instrument you can kind of hear in that bridge part there. It's like an electronic cello or something, just to do that droning note. Do you remember what it was, Nathan?
Yeah, it's something like guitar viola or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our friend Rian, who's an amazing film composer and soundtrack writer. I think he's the only guest we had on this record, actually.
Yeah, that'd be right, wouldn't it?
Slim Alamo, I adjusted the levels a little bit. Let us know if that's working a little bit better for you. What is up, Tame Inc? Nice to see you over here. You're getting some props on your Hero poster, Christian.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's a classic from the video store. I think it was from an old Blockbuster video that shut down. My friend nabbed it, and I was always so jealous of it. And then a few years ago, just out of the blue, it turned up in a roll one day. He'd sent it to me, and I was forever stoked with it. Yeah, Akira's. And Atoma, the creator, that's my favorite shit ever.
Are you big into Japanese film? Because I know the Metal Archives photo of you guys, you're wearing a Japanese Godzilla King Ghidorah shirt.
Yeah.
That you got on that one.
Just out of view, I've got a King Ghidorah hanging from the roof. I'm a huge Toho fan. I love kaiju movies. My other band is called Ghidorah, misspelled, and that's the old punk rock band that Greg and I have had since we were little fellas. But yeah, I love it.
Fuck yeah.
And Japanese comics as well, particularly Atama, the Akira kid. This could go on a very big tangent.
Oh, go there, Christian. Go there.
We go down tangents a lot.
Oh yeah.
I just before you do that, I just have to say though, the slowing down and just like the trudging, disgusting, gross sludge in this song. We're on the crawl right now. Just like especially after the upbeat song that was Nail and Tooth, this coming right afterwards.
Yeah, it really feels like you're just heading into the Matrix slow-mo, dodging bullets.
Yeah, and this one for me is EJ's real high moment. She's amazing on this. I never get sick of hearing her performance on this one. It's really quite powerful. I listened to the album right through yesterday for the first time in a long time. I just heard it too much. And hearing this song again, man, I was nearly tearing up. She does such a powerful performance in it. And I've heard it 1,000 times, it still gets it.
Yeah, Keem, I don't know how you're feeling about this, but it reminds me of like southern smoky bar or whatever that you go into.
It's like one of those.
Yeah.
How slow it is. It's like kind of like a torture device.
Yeah, really drags you around, eh?
Yeah, I can just like see her on stage, like cinema or whatever, right? See her on stage, the curtains part, see a bunch of like smoke rising from the people sipping on their Manhattans or whatever, and in those boxes, rather than like the trumpet players or whatever, you've just got like skeletons or something, right? Like on stage, just in the back.
All right, you can direct the music video.
Yeah,
sounds good.
You passed the audition. Yeah,
there we go. All right, I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, this is definitely the longest song on the album, and I was always a little weary of having anything over. Well, how long is this one? 5 or 6 minutes?
Not even 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, we did trim it down a bit.
4:50.
But it really for me it's kind of the heart of the album now. I think that you've kind of got more sort of bite-sized ones either side of it, but this feels right, having a bit of an epic in the middle.
Yeah.
I think.
How long did it take you guys to sequence this album? Like, what thoughts did you go in when you were putting all the songs together?
I think I did the sequencing, and I had a pretty clear idea of knew what the first song was going to be, so that's a good start. Because those sirens, I just imagine those guitars at the start of Motorcycle like sirens. It's like a warning siren. Lena.
Yeah.
Like
things, yeah.
Like, get out, shit's gonna go down, sort of thing. And then it all just kind of flowed from there. But yeah, this song was definitely a key track that had to be, you know. I used to find growing up, like track 6 was always like the track of CDs, which always with a 1. So yeah, I don't know, just kind of where it fitted best. And you want it to be a journey. I mean, we've got most heavy bands have a lot of fast songs and then one slow song. But we've got a lot of slow songs and two fast songs. So it's all a bit flipped. I just saw some guy on Instagram posted about us the other day. He was spinning the album, he called it Power Doom. And I thought that was like a pretty cool description of the music.
Yeah.
A pretty cool genre title, at least.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before, actually.
Trademark it.
Yeah.
This one was a real noodle scratcher trying to get our heads around this song. This was Greg wrote this one, and he brought it to practice, and this little, I don't know if we're perfectly in sync, but that high part is a little loop in 7, and it's quite a fast 7. And got our heads around that pretty quickly, but it's just the structure of bouncing between the 7 parts and 4 parts that go back and forth. Man, we chopped this song up and rearranged it so many times, eh, Nathan?
Oh, when we played it live, I used to actually have a like a chord chart with me, or a song chart to go. Okay, where do I go halftime? Where do I go Zabel and Yoko one more time? It was a head scratcher, as Christian says. But I sort of see this as the brother sister of Heart the Sickle. That is, they feel like there are 2 songs in the same genre on this record. We've got other songs that are more gloomy and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that little 7 lick thing, that's the bit more than anything else that gets stuck in my head. I used to couldn't sleep with that goofy little loop going around.
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm not a type of music listener that's able to like instantly pick up on like time signatures and everything like that and how changed. It's kind of like, oh, well, that was kind of weird, isn't it? It's like subconsciously. Yeah. But now I'm always gonna count 7 whenever I hear that do 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 do. I'm always gonna count 7.
Yep. So it's 2 quite fast bars of 7. Do 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 do. Oh yeah. It's our Sweet Child of Mine riff, I guess.
Fuck, it totally is, isn't it?
I can hear that.
Yeah,
I would have never thought that, but now.
You know, we ripped off so far today. Guns N' Roses, Mastodon, Metallica.
Getting through them.
Some old soul stuff from your previes.
We're hoping to be able to finally play some shows again soon. We've had so many shows get cancelled over the last year. It always looks like things are going to start opening up and be able to play to proper crowds, and then we go into another lockdown or another one of the thousands of red light, restrictions we've had over.
It's kind of pretty anticlimactic. I've loved putting out this record and it's been great hearing people's reactions to it. But you really want to play live, and it's kind of anticlimactic when you put out a record you're proud of. You got your dates booked, but you can't get excited about going and playing to people.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you guys what's next, but I mean, because I figure that at some point you want to get out and tour on the record, play some shows, everything like that. So yeah, I hope that comes along sooner rather than later. I know New Zealand has been like very quick on the trigger finger as far as like shutting everything down and making sure that nobody's going out.
Yeah, we've got very I think the government has definitely done a great job here at stopping people from dying. It could have been handled in other ways, but at the moment it's the worst it's ever been for us. It's not like 2 years ago was the peak for us. It's actually, we're peaking right now with a lot of the most cases we've ever had. So hopefully we'll be able to get out soon and play these shows.
Yeah. It's a record store in town called Rough Hill Records, and Paul, who runs that, he is the one who put out our vinyl, and we're hoping to do an in-store at his shop for Record Store Day at the end of this month. So that'll be the first time we've played live in quite a while. So I think we're going to be pretty rusty. We're going to have to try and get some time in the practice hole. We've got this tiny little box of a room that we practice in, which is possibly where COVID first originated from. It's this little moist, wet, airtight, vacuum sealed. Yeah,
it's tiny. It's tiny. It's you probably fit two guitar cabinets in there and a drum kit, and that's it. Yeah. And everyone's all squashed up.
So yeah, we're gonna lock ourselves away in there. Hopefully this weekend we're gonna get into some proper practicing again, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So the thing is with this record too is that because we wrote the songs over the last few years and recorded it in 2020, that we've we've probably got half the songs kind of written for a new album. I mean, Christian, you've been writing so much stuff, so we won't have to mess around for too long. We could probably get another record out in a year or so, I reckon, if it's so if this goes well, this album, people like it, they won't have to wait too long for something else.
You love to hear it.
Yeah, doing that recording was so fun. Actually being in a proper studio with a proper engineer. Nathan's done a lot of that before, but the bands I've been in have all just been sort of home recorded ones. And it was so fun being in there with people who knew what they were doing and locking ourselves in there for we did it over drums one weekend and guitars the next weekend. But it was, so fun. Proper studio, surgery studio here in Wellington. Can't say enough good things about it. Loved it.
Something that interests me, I know we've already seen it, right? Bands that released stuff in 2020 came around like in 2021, like ready to go with new stuff. And you even saw at least like 4 or 5 bands maybe off the top of my head that released 2 albums in 2021 just because they had the time. You are not the first band to say that on this program where they're like, yeah, this album is out, it's been ready to go for 2 years, we already have most of the stuff ready to go for another one. And I think that's exciting because whether or not you guys are able to like really do a huge tour with this album, if you have something right around, you can combine it all into one and get everybody that like, shaking up a Coke can and just like letting it go.
Yeah, that's basically like, that describes the ending of this track too. We've just shook everything up and then it just goes bang.
Yeah, done.
See you later.
Y'all, that was a quick 32 minutes, everybody. End Boss, They Seek My Head. Dactyls in the chat said, I'm cheering at the end of every song, and this album is an absolute vibe. But then also, Curtails it was saying that they're in Boston, so you probably can't hear them.
Yeah. I heard something. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, this is like reflecting music, like the late night drive reflecting music.
Yeah, dude.
It really is, man.
We're a little bit early, Keem, but I'm sure that both of us can have a couple of hours ahead where we can put that on.
Oh, yeah. Windows down.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be interesting. Be very interested to hear what you think of it when you get to have a proper listen to it. I'm so happy with the sound of the recording. It's what I'd always dreamed this band could sound like, and that's so much credit to James Goldsmith, who really worked over the sound of this. He was really enthusiastic about that bizarre, low, crushing sound we had, but I think it must have been a bit of a challenge to retain that clarity. But he did it, and he put a lot of work in. So, yeah, every time we talk about this album, I always want to make sure to say what a big part of it James was.
Hell yeah.
He did amazing.
Pup NZ shouted out, says shout out NBoss and NATO in the Twitch chat as well. I think that the quick the quick run time as well as like the sounds of the instrument, EJ's voice, all of it, there's a lot that welcomes repeat listens for that, and I know that I've given it several spins already. We're going to give it many more by the end of the year, that's for sure. And I know that I had a buddy of mine who does stuff over at Metal Hammer he was like, check out this band. They're called NBoss. And I was like, dude, I heard them earlier today. We're on the same page. Fuck yeah.
Awesome.
The last question that I usually have for every artist is when people like listen to this record, if they're listening to this on demand, if they're listening to it now, when they put it on in their late night drive in their car or their headphones on, when they're just like enjoying a nice summer nap in a hammock or something like that, what do you want people to take away from this album?
Nathan, do you want to handle that one?
No, you do that one.
What do you want to take away from it? I think, I know that sound-wise, we just love the idea of giant machines and dragging a heavy weight. And I think completely unintentionally, I think a lot of EJ's lyrics were about carrying the weight of emotions and fears, and so there was kind of a weird metaphorical crossover there. But I think so it goes into some pretty dark stuff. But it's we certainly are pretty positive as a bunch of people, and we really like playing with each other. And I think that positivity comes through as well. It's not a massive depression. I think it kind of addresses negativity, but not dwelling in it.
Yeah, it's to me, it's an optimistic doom album.
Yeah,
it's not like, you know, it's not doom and gloom. It's doom and
doom and party.
Doom and party. Yeah, the power doom.
Power doom.
Amazing.
So yeah,
anything else?
Muddled analogies.
Late night drive. I have a 2-hour drive in 2 hours.
Oh,
it's gonna be my late night ride.
You'll be able to listen to this record 4 times, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll get to really digest.
All right, everybody, this has been Nato and Christian from N-Boss. Go pick up their new record, They Seek My Head. Now it's available wherever you stream music. You can go to their Bandcamp. You can go to wherever you find music. Pick it up, listen to it, spin into the doom and bloom, and into the power doom of everything. Christian, Nato, thank you so much for joining us today on First Listen.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate the interest, and it's been fun talking to you guys.
Yeah, likewise. We loved all the insight. For Hardcore Keem, I am Jon Garcia, aka StayPuft. We'll see you next week, I believe, right? I think we're back next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
See you guys then. Take it easy. Cheers.
Awesome.
Cheers.